Hi and welcome to another sales training video. In this training, I will talk about the biggest sales mistakes new business owners make and how to overcome them. The mistake number one is you being the bottleneck in your business. This basically means that you are trying to do everything, and as a result, you are basically choking your business and you are limiting the scope of things that you can do. As a result, this limits your revenue potential. So for example, you try to do the prospecting, you try to do the outreach, the closing, you try to prepare the proposals, you try to follow up, you make the phone calls, the sales calls, the cold calls. Simply you try to do everything there is. Mistake number two, people lack at least baseline knowledge. So what this means is that you don't have the appropriate knowledge to execute, outsource, or delegate different tasks in your sales process. If you're not sure how the end result should look, of course it's impossible to do it or to at least hire someone to do it for you. I see so many business owners trying to hire too early or to outsource too early without understanding what they are doing, and at the end they get burned. Maybe because they're not sure how to hire, or simply because they hire someone who is not fit for the job. Mistake number three, they're not willing to invest into high quality help. This mistake usually manifests in these three different ways. Number one, a small business owner of a new business is trying to hire commission-based salespeople. Usually they do this because they don't have the appropriate capital to hire a salesperson. However, as a result, normally the person leaves, so there's high staff turnover and they get no results. So they spend a lot of time hiring for the person, they spend time training them about the product or service, and at the end, the commission-based salesperson simply leaves. Normally, commission-based salespeople are working only on high-ticket projects where they are able to get really sizable commission based on that sales. If your service or product is around 3K and below, well, it's very unlikely that the salesperson will be able to create enough demand and to sell enough volume that it will make sense for them to basically work at risk. The second mistake I see new business owners make associated with getting low quality help is hiring extremely cheap VAs. In some cases, this can be okay if you really understand your process and you can really hire and train for that role. But in most cases, if you're a new business owner, you will not understand exactly what the VA will need to do, and you will outsource it to them despite them having the appropriate skills and knowledge to do the job properly. So as a result, maybe you will not trust them and you will see that you need to manage them all the time, so there'll be no trust, there'll be no competency to do the job properly, and as a result, you will basically try to supervise them 24/7, and at the end, you're not really paying that low dollar value per hour, but in fact, you are paying with your own time, which is the most important resource. And lastly, if you try to get cheap or inadequate help, maybe in the form of a consultant or someone who's never actually grown business themselves, you will get approach that doesn't work or something very generic they maybe copy from a blog post. Of course, often the strategy can look good on a paper, but there's a big difference between just a strategy that someone can write up in a blog post or in a document and actual proven strategies that work because it's been tested and proven to work in real life in the marketplace. And the last sales mistake I see business owners make is that they focus on things they hate. Now, it's of course important to remember that yes, if you're just starting out and you have a small team or no team, you will have to do things you don't really like. But overall, as a long-term strategy, this is extremely limiting and detrimental. The chances are, if you do things you hate, you will be not good at those things. So instead of focusing on things you're not good at, you should focus on things that you are really good at and where you excel. So when you consider just the value added per hour or per day on tasks that you're good at, there'll be much better ROI on those activities. And secondly, if you do things you hate, you'll be inconsistent. So let's say you will decide to publish videos on YouTube, but the problem is you really hate creating videos and creating content. Well, the chances are that you will stop producing content maybe in 1 or 2 months. However, publishing content for 1 or 2 months is not enough to create the compounding effect of a long-term activity. So as a result, you will lose those 2 months of creating content, you will do things you hate, and simply this will affect the rest of your motivation to progress in your business. And also you will not get the long-term benefits of creating a number of videos that will help you to grow your channel. So when you think about the mistakes business owners make and how to ensure that you don't make the same mistakes, it's important to refocus on your goals. Generally, in terms of sales and business growth, the end goal is quite similar for many businesses. You, just like any other business, probably want more sales, more revenue, and you want to have a sales process that is automated, predictable, and scalable. Also, you probably want to grow your team, you want to have bigger market share, maybe down the line you want to sell your business, you want to have financial freedom, maybe you want the recognition. Well, to get to that goal, whatever that is for you, you need to focus on the right things in the right order. So if you're a new business owner, I think you should be doing these 3 things to avoid the mistakes I just talked about. Number 1, you should audit your skills. Number 2, you should audit the necessary processes you have in your business and in scaling your business. And number 3, you should audit the team requirements you have to execute on the processes. So in terms of auditing your skills, you need to have a really good and honest look at yourself and where you are right now. So ask yourself what you are good at, what do you enjoy, and what is your track record of success. For example, if you absolutely hate writing and you are good at processes and sort of high-level thinking, well, maybe starting a blog and being the content marketer in your business is not the right choice for you. So in that case, you have to be very honest with yourself and where you want to channel your energy and what is going to drive the biggest results for your business. Next is auditing your processes. So let's say you have a solution that you are selling to other businesses. So you are a B2B business and you want to sell through LinkedIn or cold email. So maybe you need to have a prospecting process where you go on LinkedIn, you engage in due diligence process where you look at the right person, you look at their background, you assess whether they are the right person to target, you gather their contact information. Then you need to have some copywriting process where, for instance, you are able to create a lot of different variations of cold emails or LinkedIn messages. You want to A/B test. Then, of course, you need to have the outreach, follow-up process, a process for personalization of your messages, providing quotes, proposals, and so on. So these are all different elements of your sales process you need to have in action to get to your goal. Will you need all of these processes? Probably not. So that's why you need to look at your business and decide what is necessary for you, what is happening in your sales process, and how to make sure these processes are running together in synchrony to generate leads and sales. And lastly, you need to audit who you need to employ or who you need to get on your team to execute these processes. If you are just starting out, maybe it will be just you plus a VA, or it'll be just you using a lot of automation. Again, you need to decide what is the right thing for you. Once you assess all the necessary skills, processes, and team you need to have to get your sales process running, then you should focus on these things. Number 1, outsource what you are not good at. As I said, one of the biggest mistakes is people don't have the baseline knowledge. So firstly, you should get the baseline knowledge, how to do things, and then outsource what you're not good at. Then you should double down on what you are good at. So if you're a great sales closer, if you're great on the phone, you're great at building relationships, maybe the best use of your time is on the phone closing instead of maybe doing some other things like creating YouTube videos, blog posts, or doing the prospecting and setting up the automation. Maybe all your energy should be focused just on getting on those calls and closing those deals. And lastly, get the appropriate help at the right time. It's very important that you don't try to do things out of sequence. And what I mean by that is you get the help only at that stage that is appropriate for your business. For example, if you're just starting out and you don't have any baseline knowledge, you're not sure what you're doing, it doesn't make that much sense to start outsourcing straight away. And I discussed the reasons before, and some of these reasons are, for example, you will get burned because simply you don't understand what the person is doing. And here is a very simple sequence of progression in terms of getting help as you progress with your business. So let's say you are at step number 1, you just started your business and you're not making any revenue. In that case, I would suggest you start with books, videos, blogs, and free help information online you can find just to get you going and to start getting first customer. If your business idea makes sense, if there's a painful problem you're solving and you are clear on who your audience is, you should be able to get at least a couple of clients straight away with free advice you find online. Next, as you're getting more momentum with clients, you should reinvest this revenue into training and consulting to push you to the next level. Then once you understand what you're doing and you have some processes in place which are working and optimized, then you should think about getting someone to help you do it with you, then do it for you, and lastly, maybe bring someone in-house to your team. This is the usual progression I see with many businesses, and I think this is optimal. So if you're at stage number 1 and you're not making any revenue, you just started out, it doesn't make sense to jump into stage number 4, which is done for you, which I see so many new business owners make, where they think they can just completely outsource sales and don't do anything. It's out of sequence and it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't work. So that's all for today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click the subscribe button to receive more training videos like this in the future. And also, if you go to the description box below, you will see a link to our training called 20-60-20 Rule of Copywriting. It is a very simple framework we use with our clients to generate between 20 to 40% reply rates on cold emails and LinkedIn campaigns. It is a very simple framework, a method you can use in your own lead generation campaigns to generate more leads, more revenue, something you can continuously use in your sales process. So make sure to go to the description box below and click the first link, and it will take you to the landing page where you can get it completely for free. So as I said, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.